We're going to be opening up an existing Access file, and we're going to be basically taking a look at how to navigate within Access. And what they'd like us to do is launch Access first. And then from Backstage View, we're going to go into Open, and we're going to click on Browse. And we do need to navigate to where your files for class are. And you're going to go open up your Access S1 folder. And the file that we want to open is 1-WE distributors. And when you first come into Access, you do need to enable the content. And once you enable the content, you're going to be able to view the various objects that are in the database file. So how this is organized is similar to Word and Excel. We have a title bar across the top. On the left-hand side, you have your quick access toolbar. So you've got save, undo, and redo. And then you've got the name of the file, and then it tells you that you're in Access. And then over on the right, you've got those window manipulation buttons like you do in the other Office applications. You also have top-level tabs displayed, and clicking on the various tabs displays ribbons. Ribbons have commands that are displayed in groups, and if you look at your home ribbon, you will see some very similar to commands that we've been using all along. There's a clipboard group with cut, copy, and paste, and a format painter. Over on the right, we have text formatting with bold, italicized, underlining, a lot of the commands that you are familiar with. However, in Access, there's going to be a lot of new commands because this is a database and it is quite a bit different in purpose than the other Office applications. So this first little activity is designed to get you familiar with navigating in Access. Below your ribbon on the left it's called a navigation pane. And this little set of arrows opens and closes it. And it displays all of the objects that you have in your database. And probably the most important object is a table, because until you have a table, you can't create any of the other objects. Okay, so the very first thing you do in Access is create tables. So they are going to have us kind of take a look at some of these tables, and then we're going to take a look at some of the other objects that are in the database file. So they would like us to look at the orders table. And you'll notice that all the tables are grouped, all the queries, all the forms, they're all grouped together. We're going to go ahead and double click on orders, and that will open it up. Okay, and you can see across the top, we have, they almost look like column headings in Excel, but they are fields. So each column in Access is a different field. And a field is designed to store a single piece of information. And then you'll notice that we have rows. And in Access, rows are records. And if you look, each row has very specific information. So we have Danforth Cinema. This is when the movie starts and ends. Here's the movie ID, and that's how much it costs. So that's all about Danforth Cinema. And we've got Countryside Cinema with the same information, start and end, the movie ID, and how much it costs. Okay, and you'll notice I'm widening these columns by double clicking. That is the best fit method from Excel, and it works here. Okay, so this is the order table. They would like us next to look at a query. So as I mentioned earlier, the tables are probably the most important thing because you have to have a table before you can do any other type of object. A query looks a lot like a table. The difference is instead of displaying all of the fields and all of the records, a query can pick and choose what fields it displays, and it doesn't have to display all of the records. So they want us to look at the orders by city queries. I'm going to double click on that. And now you'll notice I still have my order table open, but I've also got a little tab here for orders by city. And so that's showing me order ID. It's showing me a little different information because I'm getting city, company name, movie ID, and I'm still getting start and end dates here. Okay, but I have some new information that I did not have over here. One of the powers of the query is a query can actually pull in information from more than one table. And that appears to be what's happening here. Then they would also like us to look at a form. So we're going to take a look at the movie form. I'm going to double click on that. And a form is just a different way of looking at the data that's in a table. We have a movie table, and it's set up very similar to orders. In fact, I'm going to open it so you can see it. This is the movie table, okay, and that same information is displayed in a form. And you'll notice down here at the bottom of the form, we actually have navigation buttons that let you see the different records. When we're looking at a table, we can pretty much see all the records here. Okay, but if you're using a form, because it only shows one record at a time, you actually have to use these navigation buttons. And we have previous and next. This is the first record. This is the last. Okay, you can kind of look through your table information one record at a time. So far to open these things, what we've been doing is double clicking, but you can also right click. Now, if you right click, you're going to get a menu. So you're going to have a lot of additional options right clicking that you're not going to see if you double click. So they would like us to right click on the US distributor report. So if I right click, you're going to see all of our different commands, and the command they want us to use is open. So right clicking and choosing open is the same thing as double clicking. And a report allows you to specify what fields you want to display. And basically the difference between the report and the form and the query is that in a report, you can't change any of the data. Whereas in a form, if I wanted to change the data, I can. And I can also change the data in a query. But in a report, you can't. It's static information, display only. Now, let's see. They want us to go back over to orders. And then they would like us to close. Now, the close button that they're referring to is all the way over here. I think that is very confusing. So I don't usually use that button. I usually just right click on the tab and choose close. However, they would like us to go all the way over here and click on the X. And no, I'm not going to save it. And then we're going to close US Distributor Report. And they would like us to right click and choose close, which is what I normally would do. And they would also like us to close everything else by right clicking and choosing close all. And you don't need to save anything if you've made changes. At this point, they would actually like us to close the database itself by clicking on the close button in the upper right corner. Oops, excuse me. They want us to go to File and Close. And now they want us to click the one in the upper right corner.